All right, welcome to The Explainer. Today, we are going to talk about hacking your blood sugar. We're going to break down the science and show you some really simple but super powerful levers you can pull to get your metabolic health on track. I mean, you know that feeling, right? That post-lunch slump, that after-dinner days where you just feel sluggish. Well, it turns out there's some fascinating biology behind that feeling. And in this explainer, we're going to show you exactly what it is, and more importantly, how you can take control of it. So what is actually going on inside your body? Well, that feeling is often tied directly to a post-meal blood sugar spike. When you eat, especially carbohydrates, your body breaks them down into glucose, that's sugar, which then enters your bloodstream. That initial rise, that's the key, and it's exactly what we're going to dig into. Okay, so there's a fancy scientific name for this: postprandial glycemia. And look, it's a totally normal and necessary process. Your body needs that energy. But, and this is a big but, frequent, really sharp spikes in blood sugar can be a serious risk factor for health issues down the road. All right, here's our game plan. First, we're going to really define the problem, that post-meal spike. Then, we'll look at your body's incredible internal balancing act. And finally, we'll get to the good stuff, the solutions. We're talking food, movement, and a few other powerful tools that you might not even be thinking about. Okay, let's dive right in. Section 1, the post-meal spike. Let's really unpack what the problem is here. So here's the deal. These spikes, scientists call them glycemic excursions, they're a pretty significant risk factor for things like chronic, low-grade inflammation and even cardiovascular disease. And I really want to stress this. This isn't just a concern for people with diabetes. This is about long-term metabolic health for everyone. So how on earth does your body handle these big surges of sugar after a meal? Well, it turns out it performs this incredible, kind of beautiful biological balancing act. So your body is working 24/7 to maintain balance, a state scientists call glucose homeostasis. And you can honestly think of it like a biological tug of war. On one rope, you've got insulin, which your pancreas releases to lower blood sugar. And on the other rope, you have glucagon, which raises blood sugar if it dips too low. They're both coming from the pancreas, and they're working together constantly to keep things stable. So this whole process, it's this amazing feedback loop, right? Step 1, you eat. Carbs break down into sugar, it hits your blood. Step 2, your pancreas senses this and releases insulin. Now, insulin is like a key. It goes and unlocks your cells. Step 3, the cells, now unlocked, absorb that sugar from the blood to use for energy. And finally, step 4, your blood sugar levels fall right back to normal. It's just a beautiful, elegant system for making sure you always have a steady supply of fuel. Okay, now for the really fun part, the toolkit. How can you actually influence this whole system? Let's start with your first, and maybe your most powerful lever. What's on your plate? So being carb conscious doesn't mean no carbs, not at all. It's about smart carbs. The whole strategy here is to slow down how quickly that sugar gets absorbed. And you do that by pairing your carbs with things like lean protein and lots of fiber. But you also have to be a bit of a detective because you'd be amazed where hidden sugars are lurking. I'm talking sauces, salad dressings, and especially those sugary drinks. All right, if you want to get a little more advanced with this, you can start looking at two key metrics, the glycemic index, or GI, and the glycemic load, or GL. Think of it this way. The GI tells you how fast a food spikes your blood sugar, but the GL is maybe more useful because it takes into account not just the speed, but also the amount of carbs in a typical serving. Getting your head around this difference is a total game changer. So here's the crucial takeaway. It's not just about what you eat, it's also about how it's prepared and what you eat it with. For example, the more processed a food is, like white flour versus a whole grain, the higher its GI. Fiber is your friend here. It literally acts like a brake on digestion. Even the ripeness of a fruit can change things. And get this, adding things like fat or acid, think a little olive oil or a vinegar-based dressing on your salad, can actually slow down how quickly that whole meal turns into sugar. All right, next up in our toolkit is movement. And here's a little secret for you. When it comes to flattening that blood sugar spike, when you exercise can be way more important than how hard you exercise. The timing is everything. So, what do you think? Is it better to get that walk or workout in before a meal or after? It's a great question, and lucky for us, scientists have looked at this exact thing in what's called a meta-analysis, where they reviewed a whole bunch of different studies to find the answer. And the results? Wow, they are crystal clear. Take a look at this chart. That big bar on the left, that's exercising after a meal. It has a huge effect, causing a major drop in post-meal glucose. Now look at the bar for exercising before a meal. It's barely different from doing nothing at all. The winner is obvious. And the official conclusion from that big scientific review, well, it says it all, really. If you want to blunt those big sugar spikes after you eat, getting some physical activity in during that post-meal window is, without a doubt, the most successful approach. And here's the best part. You don't need to go run a marathon. Seriously. The research shows that something as simple as a 10 or 15-minute walk, as long as you start it within about 30 minutes of finishing your meal, is incredibly effective. Your muscles just start soaking up all that glucose right out of your bloodstream. It's that simple. But wait, there's more. Your toolkit doesn't just stop at diet and exercise. Let's explore a few other powerful, but honestly often overlooked levers you can pull for your metabolic health. First up, stress. We all feel it, but what's it actually doing to your blood sugar? Well, when you're stressed, your body goes into fight or flight mode. It releases hormones like cortisol, which basically tells your liver, hey, we need energy now. So your liver dumps a bunch of stored glucose into your bloodstream. And if you're chronically stressed, well, that means your body is doing this all the time, making it a constant uphill battle to manage your blood sugar. Okay, another huge one is sleep, or more accurately, the lack of it. Check out this number. Over 35% of adults in the US are short sleepers. That means they're getting less than 7 hours a night. That is a massive national sleep debt. And believe me, it has a direct and pretty damaging impact on our metabolism. And it's not just a hunch. Study after study shows a really significant link between not getting enough sleep, both how long you sleep and how well you sleep, and developing insulin resistance down the line. So getting a solid 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep, that's just not negotiable. It has to be a priority. And finally, something you might not think about: connection. Don't underestimate this one. A major scientific review found a clear, significant link between having good social support from family, from friends, and having better health outcomes, especially for patients with diabetes. It just goes to show, having people in your corner really, really matters. So here's the big takeaway from all of this. Your metabolic health isn't just one thing. It's not a single switch you can flip. It's a whole system of interconnected levers. You've got food, you've got movement, stress, sleep, and even your social connections. They all work together. And once you understand how this system works, that's when you're truly empowered to take control. So that leaves just one question. Which lever are you going to pull first?